What's going on, everyone? We are live. This is Fun Speculation Podcast, and it is Thursday, a little after 7. Looking forward to having some fun conversations today. There's actually quite a bit of stuff to talk about because Gamescom is around the corner. Rumors are swirling. I don't know if this is. Maybe there's even something that's almost been confirmed. I don't even know at this point, but it seems like everybody's putting it out there. So we'll talk about some of these rumors out there and some other fun stuff too. But joining me as always when he's available, someone and only Jasper. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Just hanging around, growing as a person, just my normal self now.
Yeah.
uh, nah, but for real, I did pre-order the big like Expanse game that's coming out. It's like Expanse Osiris Reborn or something. It's based off like the TV show
Yeah.
Expanse. Um, there's like a beta right now. If you pre-order it, you can play it, and it's very Mass Effect like. So if you like Mass Effect, it's probably uh going to be a really good game.
Yeah. Right on, man. I was gonna ask you about Star Wars Zero Company. Are you gonna play that?
Yeah, I pre-ordered that as well. So I got that pre-ordered, and I pre-ordered A Plague's Tale like 2 days ago, and then they just announced today it's coming to Game Pass. So
Ooh.
I may keep the pre-order or cancel it. I don't know.
Yeah, that one's been. So you probably missed it. That was announced like coming to Game Pass. What? Was it? Yeah, I thought it was announced before, but it could
Maybe
have
it was.
just.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, you have me second guessing myself though. I thought it was always like announced as coming to Game Pass, but like
It
now I'm
may have
not
been,
so
and I
sure.
forgot it, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
that game looks different than the other Plague's Tale games. It actually
Yeah, it
looks like
does.
pretty. What they did with the combat, it looks really sick. It's not what you would expect. You know,
Yeah, it's
so it's
definitely seeming like it's gonna be more combat focused as opposed to like I guess puzzles and like trying to run around shit. I guess.
yeah. I I Zero Company, like the more I've been trying to just not follow too much, because I've been sold on it ever since I found out that there was like a Star Wars like XCOM like game. But supposedly, like in all the people that have played the previews and stuff are saying like the story, it's like Mass
Yeah.
Effect-y and stuff. So that's getting me even more excited for it. I'm thinking it's gonna be a much bigger game than I originally had even anticipated. Um, so we got some people in the chat want to say hello. Leo boys, how's it going? Hi Xbox at Gamescom will have 33 total game confirmed reveal for next week. Well, I know they're gonna have 25 games that they said are gonna be at the show, and then they're gonna have some surprises and stuff. I don't know if we had a confirmation of the amount of reveals or anything like that. I don't think so. But there is like a lot of rumors. Like Nate the Hate had started some rumors out there, and it's apparently some stuff's been going around behind the scenes in the podcasting scene and some of the people that are insiders out there, and they've been all told kind of some of the same stuff. And there is supposed to be a game that is, I don't know. We can talk about it. I just don't want to spoil it for that segment of the show. But it's a game that is a sequel to a beloved Xbox franchise that's supposed to be revealed there, and it's supposedly coming sooner than we all think, as what the rumor kind of initially was. And it was a more recent franchise, so it's not like a sleeper franchise that's been dormant for forever. And the other thing was it's a studio that's making it as a surprise. And then the third clue was that the genre, if Nate were to have told people what the genre is, it would have given the game away. So I don't know if smart people out there have kind of deduced what game it is from those clues. But I was just watching Dirt, and he was saying people in his DMs saying it was a specific game. I was watching a different video earlier, from that Ecstasis guy, and he was like, "Hey, everything points to this game," you know. And then other people have been putting it out there too. So I'll go ahead and tell you guys that supposedly, with what everybody's saying, because everybody else has been talking about this, and I'm not saying I know anything. I'm just saying what other people are saying. It possibly might be is a new Ori and not made by Moon. And supposedly, and I was just watching Dirt. I learned this from the chat, and some of you guys probably told me. I know Amit Kumar was there in the chat. He told me, and some other people while I was watching Dirt Show, that it's Mercury Steam, the developers of Metroid Dread and Blades of Fire, um, and they would be the ones doing Ori. Now, if that's the case, it's probably a pretty good fit considering Metroid Dread is a Metroidvania game, and so is Ori, right? So they understand the game design aspects there, and they are also a quality studio. So I remember that Blades of Fire game kind of took off on Steam and got some popularity as well. So it could be an interesting choice. Moon Studios is tied up still with No Rest for the Wicked, and they don't seem to have a great relationship with Xbox these days. I'm not sure what their where their standing would be. So I don't. This seems like maybe it was an IP that Xbox didn't want to let sit. And if if are the ones that are doing it, I'm down with that. I am hoping it is something sooner than later. It is a franchise that is kind of like another mascot type character Ori is for Xbox, and it kind of has become the more so that type of character than even Banjo at this point, I think, because you had two popular games that were very well received. Um, but yeah, what were your thoughts about? Did you ever play Ori or like Ori, Jasper? Not
I
necessarily your
I
kind
I
of thing.
don't really play platformers or anything like that. They're just never really my cup of tea. So
Hmm. Yeah, I beat the first one. I don't remember if I beat the second one. I remember I played quite a bit of the second one. Um, I remember not liking the second one as much as the first one, just because like they didn't. I don't think they did as good a job with kind of the way that the game progresses. If you leave it and come back to it and stuff, it's kind of tough to remember where you were, where to go, and stuff like that.
yeah,
So, but yeah, Metroid Dread I've played some of as well. Solid game. It's not my favorite Metroid by any means. I prefer the old school Super Metroid games, still back in the day on the SNES and stuff like that. But this one was solid. It was a really solid game. So I think that would be an interesting choice. It is a franchise that I do like, so it would be another kind of cool, exciting announcement. I do wonder also with it being I mean, it's an IP that Xbox owns. You would imagine it's going to be in Game Pass, right? A first party game as well. So I know you stopped your subscription, Jasper, but you would have just
yeah,
well, you said you would
yeah.
have
I
not.
re-upped it
You were upped it now. Okay.
like 2 months ago or so. So
It's a good time too.
we'll see.
Did you play
Yeah,
the Gear? You did play the Gears beta, right? So you did that,
yeah. I played it the first week. I didn't get to. I didn't get to it the second week. So um, yeah, I've only played Horde mode.
right? Yeah, yeah. I remember we talked about that last week. So you got
Yeah,
Plague Tale, yeah, Gears. If Ori ends up being a surprise 2026 game, or maybe a 2027 game, that's awesome. Fable's coming around the corner in February. Um, cool shit there coming on Game Pass soon. Get to some of the chat here. Brett Bingham says we could have Halo Wars 3, Gears Tactics 2, Killer Instinct 2, Quantum Break 2, Record 2, and or Crackdown 4, but we are getting fucking Ori 3. Well, I mean, I would say that those other games are probably much bigger investments into the development of. Ori, I think, could be something that is a good franchise for them to keep people drawn in and another well critically received kind of game and stuff like that. But it's not gonna like break the bank for them to make new Ori games. I don't think so. Um that may be why you are seeing this, but also, like, this would have been something that would have been started a few years back, I would imagine. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, probably. But yeah, I would love a Halo Wars 3. I know Jasper would too.
Yeah. I mean, the first or the second Halo Wars got announced at Gamescom when they came back to it in like 2014 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So you never
So
know. But
if what I want to ask though, like, putting Ori out of your mind, if there was a franchise that you wanted to see come back, or if it was like a surprise announcement, which one would you be most excited for?
out of those games that's listed or just anything?
Anything in the Xbox's portfolio,
That's tough.
and that includes ABK.
Yeah, I
Anything.
know. There's I mean, Halo Wars 3 is a good pick, but I feel like there's got to be something else that I'm forgetting right now that I would want more. I'm trying to even think of cross like ABK games, or even Bethesda stuff. Like, because we're getting new Fallouts now, so I can't say Fallout anymore.
Yeah.
Diablo's 4 still current.
Hmm.
I mean, that kind of just leaves like I want to say Age, but like we've even got some of those more recently, and they keep doing stuff with those.
Yeah, we've gotten
So
a lot of
that just
age stuff.
keeps putting me back to Halo Wars 3. Um,
I already know. I
yeah,
got one in my brain. I'll mention
what's
after.
yours?
I put StarCraft.
StarCraft? Yeah, that's a good one for ABK at least.
I mean, I think like there's rumor that they're making a StarCraft game, but it's rumored to be like a StarCraft Ghost style. But like, I want both. I want a new RTS traditional StarCraft game and like a StarCraft like Space Marine type shooter game as well. I mean, I know we've got multiple. Like you already have Gears. You have Warhammer Space Marine. So I don't know how much we need Ghost, but I think seeing a game like that from Blizzard could be really cool. Maybe it'd be more like a
I
Destiny style game or something instead.
I think this question's a lot harder now because they've kind of redoubled down on all their big franchises. So like they're seeming to be in the production phase of a lot of their bigger games
Yeah.
this time around. That's where it's kind of hard to like. I'm trying to think of the big stuff that everyone loves and this what Xbox is known for.
Hmm.
But those are all kind of being remade at this point.
Yeah, there's not. You're right. I mean, we have Gears came back. You just had a Halo campaign evolved released. We have Fable coming out. You would say like Perfect Dark. You would say like
Yeah,
stuff like that, but that just got canceled recently. State of Decay is coming out. One thing that it popped in my head. Now, this wouldn't necessarily be it's not a first party game, but this is a game that has a long history with Xbox. They've had done multiple exclusives on Xbox in the past, and that's Dead Rising.
yeah, that would be a good one. I thought you were going to say Splinter Cell because I saw your tweet today.
Oh yeah, well, Splinter Cell, of course. I mean, we all know how I feel about that one. But like, if they got with Capcom, and like, I'm not even saying it has to be exclusive. You know, kind of like
Yeah,
they did with Ninja Gaiden. Now, Ninja Gaiden was, but or it was no Ninja Gaiden wasn't exclusive, was it? It came in on PlayStation, I think,
I think
or
it
did it
did.
not?
I don't remember.
I don't even. Yeah, like the whole like multi-plat and non-multi-plat shit like over the last like year and a half has fucking just befuddled my brain. I don't even remember what games went where anymore. Chat, did Ninja Gaiden go to PlayStation? I think it did, but it was in Game Pass. Dead or
I
Alive
mean,
they're
yeah,
already bringing back Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive's coming back. They're making a new one. They announced that when they announced the re-release of Dead or Alive 5. Was it 5 or 6? Which was the last one? Yeah, Ninja Gaiden
it's
4
even tough because like there's games that have been close with Xbox for like one or two games, like Titanfall or Mass Effect,
Yeah.
but then they all just went multiplat, so you can't really say like those either.
Yeah, well, like Elder Scrolls was the same situation too. So is
Yeah.
Splinter Cell. I mean, there's so many. And back in the day, though, that was because like for so for some of those games, they just weren't capable as much. They were, like Xbox was that much more powerful than PS2 and stuff at the time. And it's more like PC like, so it was easier for them to get
Yeah.
some of these games out. And Xbox was being aggressive, doing deals and stuff. Um, and then eventually they started putting the games everywhere. But I feel like even if you these games are multi-plat now, like even if you go to some of these partners and they're like, "Hey, you remember this great thing we had going back in the day with these games? Can we like how about let's do a marketing deal, a Game Pass deal, or something we can help fund it. You can still release it everywhere and let's just bring it out and like market it around Xbox." I feel like that'd be a good move with some of these classic franchises. I feel like there's so much shit you could bring back. Like the fact that we still don't have a Splinter Cell is asinine. Like if I had been Phil Spencer in the last 15 years, I would have been like telling you if you're scared, if you're a chicken shit, like we'll help
Well,
back this thing, you know?
that kind of makes me wonder if Osh is going to be aggressive with like companies like that now. Because she said we're going back to like the big exclusive Xbox branded titles, but I wonder if she's going to also try to go after third parties for like big releases like that. Because I was thinking, because I just bought all the Bioshocks again because they're on sale for $11, get all of them from Steam or whatever, and that reminded me of the Judas game coming out. If Xbox can secure Judas as a console exclusive, that would be huge.
Yeah.
But I don't
I
know if they're aggressive at going after these kind of companies anymore.
well, I would say like it's been proven in the past, like with the Square shit, like Square Enix did all those deals with PlayStation, right?
Yeah,
And other companies still do exclusivity deals with PlayStation all the time. And it didn't end up working out for Square in the long run, but that's such a massive franchise, and they were releasing those a lot of these games anyway. You know what I mean? It's not like they had to have PlayStation to be able to release a Final Fantasy game. You know,
yeah.
but there are so many franchises. I think like you could be like, hey, let's bring this back. You know, and those are the ones where I think you could be willing to take like a chance on, and if you get funding and do some exclusivity deals like that. To your point, Jasper, and something I talked about when I went over her like reset post and plans and stuff
Yeah.
like that, when she was kind of breaking down the like thought process of going back exclusive and stuff. She said specifically that, as we saw at Summer Showcase, having exclusive games is important, and she mentioned third party as well, which was not like Phil. I don't think I ever would have heard Phil Spencer saying like third party exclusive content is important, because he specifically made a point to go away from that, saying that they only wanted to really invest in the IPs that they owned, right? So after early Xbox One generation, they kind of stopped doing as many of those deals, right? Unless it
Well, I
was
mean,
like,
even
we're funding this game just to get this game made, but we're not really necessarily care about the exclusivity things. Like they even helped put Ori on the Switch and all that other kind of stuff, like after it
I
was
think
made.
the problem that they had though also was that a lot of third parties just weren't even making the game for Xbox. So they had to convince a lot of the at least Eastern developer side of things, like your Capcoms and stuff like that, to make games for the console itself. So that was, I think, kind of where his mindset was just like they're not
Yeah.
even, especially the Eastern games, they're like not even making games for Xbox. So
This is what she said specifically. I went and found it. At the same time, as we saw this past weekend at Showcase, a reliable pipeline of first and third party exclusives and new IP are critical to our success. So I think also, like, you do partnership deals, you help fund stuff as well, like, or whatever kind of situation they are dealing with the different games. it can be a lot less risky or a lot less like full committal than you having a studio make a game for 5 years. You know what I mean? That you own entirely. And instead of like, hey, we're gonna help fund this thing, even if they don't reap the full benefits and rewards you do as a platform. And I think the key difference between Asha's plan and what they've been doing over the last few years at Xbox is Asha and Matthew Ball have a platform first mentality, and the previous leadership had gone to a content and like a- accessibility first mentality, right? It was not necessarily about, for them, it was just about reaching as many people as possible because they had this goal of reaching 100 million Game Pass subscribers. So they were like, we need to go out there and get people on mobile. We need to get people on over here. We need to get people over here. We need to get people interested in our IPs. We need to get all the PC gamers, PC Game Pass, all this other kind of stuff. So, this is an Xbox. That's an Xbox. Your fridge is a fucking Xbox. Hey, subscribe to Game Pass on your fucking fridge when you're getting tuna out or whatever the fuck you do. I don't know. So like their mentality was this is the only way they were going to reach that goal, right? And I do question the audacity of even thinking 100 million Game Pass subscribers, like when you really think about it, you know?
I mean, I think that kind of comes from like the COVID era where they saw everyone was just
Yeah, just like
buying consoles and I think they probably projected that growth to continue, and then when it didn't, they're like, "Shit."
yeah, and it was like my thinking with it is like because I realizing where they were still, thinking about it after the fact, they've never had a console generation sell over 60 something million, right? Like
The
the three,
360 did.
that's well,
Oh,
is yeah, it's
80 or whatever. Yeah.
does it sell 80? I thought
I
it
think it
sold
was
like
like 80.
65 million or
It was
something. Or
like
was that the,
89 or something like that.
okay, maybe it was the 360 generation. 80, yeah, you're at 84 to 86 million units. So if they hit that, I guess it would be possible. I mean, they have almost like a damn near 1-to-1 Game Pass ratio, it seems like, on console,
Yeah.
you know? Like they have like 30 million Game Pass subscribers in the heavily console uh focused, it seems like. But then you go to PC and cloud, they're like, always we're talking about how there's a lot of growth there, there's a lot of growth there. Um, but Xbox One did what, like 50 something mil, I think.
I don't even know if it
Oh,
was that, was it?
Xbox One sales numbers, yeah, I don't know. 58. It ended up doing 58. And right now they're probably around 30.
Yeah, probably like 32 or 35, something like that, I would assume.
So even if you get like, my point is, even if you get like everybody
Yeah.
that owns an Xbox, and you're trying to match, in order to get that, you're trying to match 360 numbers on on hardware that's way more expensive these days than it was back then, right? Um,
And maybe that changed also with whatever their
yeah,
mobile plan was at the time too.
and I think Sarah Bond, part of her main strategy was that whole mobile thing going on with like Epic and Google and Apple and all that shit.
Yeah.
And thinking that, you remember, like they were talking about open platforms and they're talking about like being able to get the storefront everywhere and all that kind of stuff, and allowing storefronts. And in order to do that, in order to make a case that your storefront should be available everywhere else, well, you can't be the antithesis of that. You have to be the
Yeah.
example. And so they're like, we're going to allow other storefronts on our platforms, right? And I think that's part of the mentality too. But that, remember, Helix started under Sarah, right? And the whole
Yeah.
idea of having other storefronts on the platform. And I think at the time it was like, hey, if we can get these rules changed and everything, we can be everywhere. We can like have our storefront like just everywhere possible, and people would have access to our games or have access to subscribe to Game Pass and play our content on any device anywhere. and potentially, like, as the technology goes up, it's like becomes a synonymous thing. I think she was trying to grow out that way, right? And they had a lot of hurdles with the lawsuit stuff that had happened. I remember there was like a big appeal, and that appeal was granted, and it massively hurt that this is an Xbox campaign because they had planned to do their big mobile launch of new app and update with being able to buy Xbox games around the this is an Xbox campaign, and that didn't end up happening. So you had the campaign come out, but then you had nothing to go along with it, you know. Um, and I think that was ultimately the where they saw the writing on the wall, like this strategy that we've been building towards isn't going to work. So now I think they're back to platform first. We got to focus on our own platform again. And as console gamers and Xbox ecosystem gamers, we've been reaping a lot of benefits from it. They've doing more and more updates
And
already.
I still think that that's probably the direction that the gaming industry is going to go eventually. And I think that might just be one of the things where Microsoft was
Way
10,
ahead of
20 years
time.
ahead of the
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
they always do. I mean, that's what always shoots them in the foot, though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
now people are hoping and praying for the disc to digital thing to pan out, and that this Xbox keeps supporting like did physical in any means necessary. Hey, we're willing to do whatever. You know what I mean? Like, well, all the Xbox One DRM stuff. I remember we like flipped out about,
Yeah.
dude. That sounds amazing. But back then, people were just flipping out about it, right? And like sometimes when they're so far ahead, um, they kind of get in their own way and kind of stumble, and then later the things naturally evolve to where they were gonna go,
Yeah.
you know? That's I wonder if they'll ever learn from that, like,
I don't see it. I
but
think you
somebody
can
has to
learn
be
from
the
it, but that's
innovators too, you know what I mean? And it's like
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe Microsoft is pushing those ideas out there and then other companies start doing it. So that's when you get it. Or if it's just Microsoft sees the direction that the technology is going. So they're like, let's try to do this now to be the
yeah,
first in the game. And then consumers and the media and everyone's just like, I'm not ready for change yet. So then it just never pans out or
mhm.
the technology isn't there yet. It's just stuff
It
like that, I think
they've
kind of
also really
happens.
never known how to really market the change in a positive way
Yeah.
for gamers because, like, the marketing campaign that they had, like, this generation and kinda started last generation, the whole, like, when everybody plays, everybody wins, all that kinda stuff, you know? It's not a I mean, it's cool, it's a cool message, it's a message I
Yeah.
believe in, you know what I mean? But it's not gonna sell shit,
Yeah.
you know? You're not gonna get a gamer excited that somebody else gets to play a game, you know? You're gonna get a gamer excited for what they get to experience. So, you can still do all that stuff that they were trying to do, but they just kinda steered the messaging in the wrong way about, like, why does it benefit you know? Why do these things how do these things benefit you? It's not enough to just say that they exist, so now more people have access. It's about, "Look how cool this is that you need it," and you get the people to buy into it, you know? And that's where the platform first mentality comes, even if the direction, like you're saying, Jasper, ends up being the same.
Yeah.
The mentality about how you focus on the content and the brand to eventually get to that point has to be dramatically different than what they were doing. Um, and that may come with exclusives. That I mean, clearly it does for Asha. Like, I mean, they've already done it with Gears, and um,
I mean, the best marketing is just word of mouth from people that are actually using it. Like,
yeah,
if you just look at like Hell Divers or whatever, like you saw so many people like posting that in clips, and then there was like wife support groups, like how to get your
hmm
husband off the game and stuff like that. So like, just the word of mouth and the natural like kind of reception to like good games out there is really what sells,
yeah,
and you can't just make that.
right. You have to be the talk.
Yeah,
You have to be what everybody's talking about.
yeah,
I think she realizes that. Um, and it's going to be interesting to see how they execute, though. You know,
yeah,
um, the thing that's interesting is PlayStation's in right now is like in the opposite direction with that. Like, I haven't seen PlayStation's name being dragged through the mud this much since the announcement of the PS3 price. Um, and you have this to digital. I mean, sorry, not this to digital, but you have the whole abandoning physical games thing,
yeah,
which, regardless of if everybody ends up doing it, they jumped on that sword, which is not
yeah.
like PlayStation. Like, jumping on the sword
They
was
see that they're
interesting.
in the lead and they know that they can take a risk right now, and we'll see if that pays off for them.
Yeah,
Like maybe they don't lose people. Maybe people are too set in the PlayStation ecosystem and mindset that they'll never switch. But it's definitely a mistake that PlayStation's made announcing it. So I don't
it's
know.
it's like the it's not necessarily about how many people go sell their PlayStations right now for me or anything like that. It's
It's not it's
about
not
that.
it's not about a right now thing. It's about the next gen. Like
Yeah,
who's going to switch over or jump in at that point.
it's
And
it's about that talking about you. You know, you're talking
yeah,
about it. It's like the word of
yeah,
mouth thing. It's like what people are talking about. Like, are people being like "fuck PlayStation"? You know, when they're talking about PlayStation, like in public. You know, or is it like this because the DRM thing from the early Xbox One
yeah,
thing that people are begging for now, right? That like Xbox has never been able to
yeah,
recover from that fully, you know?
yeah.
And if this is another moment, like this could be another moment where it's like the other side has a chance to capitalize on it. And will this taint the image of PlayStation enough to make like a long lasting
I th- I
impact?
think I think the issue Xbox has though is this is going to be the hardest generation to switch anyone just due to the price
Yeah.
alone. The price alone is going to keep so many people out this time around that you're going to have people not buying it just because it's going to be $1,500 maybe.
I wonder if there'll be a way to get the eventually get the current gen systems down in price. And they just continue supporting this generation even with new hardware, they just continue supporting this generation for a long time, and, like, this generation ends up having, like, a strong late tail, you know? Um, I know right now it doesn't seem like it because, like, of the
Yeah.
prices are just outrageous and stuff, and they're still going up, but, like, what if in, like in comparison, when people are looking at buying 12 or $1,300 consoles in the future, right? Or they're looking at it, okay, well, like, $800 at that point sounds cheap. You know? And it's like,
Yeah. I mean,
do
eventually the
we get
prices
that?
will go down, but is the prices going to go down before they just stop producing the console?
Right. Yeah. Man. It's interesting. Like this is like all these stuff things like why I just can imagine being in Asha's shoes, you know?
Yeah.
Like because you can do all the right things and do all the right things to capture everybody's spirit and their motivation and their drive about excitement for the brand, but at the end of the day, it's still gonna be fucking expensive, right? Like consoles today are like 40, 50% higher than they were at least
Yeah.
than at the beginning of the generation. So if you bought in early, remember everybody was like, "Hey, I never buy in early. I always wait for consoles
Yeah.
until the second half." Well, we if anybody that waited for like the second half of this generation, they you got fucked on price,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I think that the exclusivity thing will be like a thing. And I think it's always been a smart thing that PlayStation did. I never blamed PlayStation for doing some of those things. That's called shady shit, but they're running a business, right? I
Yeah.
blame the companies that are big enough not to have to do those things for taking those deals and
Yeah.
shortchanging their brands like Square Enix did. I think Marvel, same. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason Ultimate Alliance 3 should have been exclusive on fucking Nintendo. right?
I mean but that did really well
It
too.
did, but it would
Yeah,
even done better if it was on
yeah,
PlayStation and Xbox,
yeah.
you know?
I think the thing is though, is like those companies, they need to realize, I guess, their brand a bit better because with Square Enix, I don't think they were in a strong enough position with the games they were releasing only to PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think they needed to understand their audience more and realize that they were not going to sell enough just on PlayStation alone and not make a profit and then end up closing down studios or letting go of everyone or just only focusing on one game now.
See, I think Marvel's interesting case for this because they've like I think the way they've done it is they've kind of approached different developers, and are like, "Hey, we
Yeah, I
think you'd
think
be
the
great."
developers reach out and be like, yeah,
Yeah, I like or because I remember seeing a Firaxis interview about Midnight Suns, right?
that's what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, they reached out to us and we're like, would you guys like to make a like
Me?
Midnight Suns game or something?" And I was like, wow, so they approached them because they liked that's interesting, right? I remember seeing something in the past about Insomniac that they had been approached, then ended up becoming like a Sony thing, Square, I don't know how the deal came about for Avengers. That was a massive disaster. Um,
That was multiplat though.
that was.
Yeah.
So they chose that developer. Now there's also other situations. You have the Amy Hennig game,
Well,
that's
also
never
with
come about.
Avengers game, everyone thought that was just like a Toonami or not a Timu like clone because like the voice
Yeah,
actors were just like not matching the faces and it's like that's not Captain America, that's the Wish version.
yeah. Well, they made them look too much like the MCU versions, and it was like MCU Avengers, but they're cousins. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was like the branch in the multiverse that they should have pruned. You know what I mean? Like, we would
yeah.
have hoped for it got fucking pruned, because like those characters just didn't match. Now, on hindsight, also, you had Guardians of the Galaxy, right? And that one was actually really good.
Yeah,
And that was Square too, wasn't it?
yeah, I
Yeah, it
think
was
so.
Eidos Montreal. So you had you had a one good game there, and then another one that was not as good, right? Um, but I am worried about their kind of like deal with Insomniac and Sony now. Um, After the success of this first Spider-Man game, I think they went a little. I think Marvel may have been like, "Hey, this is a great relation. This is going to be a great partnership," you know. And we're like, we're gonna have them do this. Then they're gonna do the X-Men. We're gonna start with Wolverine and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it started great, but we've seen their like Insomniac's take on Marvel for me has like been progressively going downhill.
I've I've been seeing everyone talk about how Wolverine looks like Spider-Man or the same and stuff, and I'm just so grateful that I feel like I've been finally gratified at my dislike of Spider-Man that they've made.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you've
the
been on
only
that.
reason people love Spider-Man is because it's fun to swing around the city, and it is. But other than that, not a great game. It's kind of mid.
Yeah, I liked the first one.
It,
The story was okay. It was pretty good. It wasn't amazing, you know. I played kind of like half of the Miles Morales expansion, and I was like getting checked out, you know. Spider-Man 2 I just avoided at that
yeah.
point. Seeing the stuff I saw, it looked like just more of the same, but like not as good. That's just the way I was taking it.
It and I said that when the Insomniac leak happened that with the X-Men game coming out, if they make it, it's just gonna feel like Spider-Man, but you're gonna have fucking like Iceman just like sliding around a town. It's like it's gonna feel the same.
Well, like, I was excited when I saw them announce for Wolverine, because I was
Yeah,
like, "Okay, it's gonna be awesome, great developer and stuff." And then I was like, kinda the leaks came out, and I was like, "Ooh, those leaks look like ass," but I was like, "Okay, it's still in development," right?
yeah,
Um, they had the state of play. I loved what I saw at the state of play. The combat. Now, it wasn't like there's nitpicks I could have in there. Like it's all robot appendages that he's able to actually remove
yeah.
and stuff. It's fine. I can get over that. I've even seen a lot of clips people sharing on Twitter about like, boss fights or like sequences where you're running for a long time and following trails. That stuff, like individually, parts of games, like, okay, not necessarily every part of a game is going to be the most best part of a game. I can get over little segments and stuff, right? So it kind of reminds me of like, people like hyper focusing on the fact that the watermelons didn't explode individually in fucking
Yeah.
Halo. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna make a big deal about
I think it
everything.
just goes to show that it's not as creative as they could have been. It's more just like kind of like basic elements you see in every game, so it doesn't feel like it's a unique
Yeah,
experience.
it seems a little phoned in a little bit. Like
Yeah,
instead of trying to create something special for it, is like,
yeah,
oh yeah, we can do this kind of boss fight for the Sentinel because it makes sense, and obviously they're referencing stuff they've themselves probably
yeah.
seen it 20 times in games. But like we don't know how that fight's gonna end. It could like lead to some cooler moments. I don't know. I'm still not gonna make a too big a deal about that. But what I can't forgive, and like I gotta give respect to Fonz on this because like him and me have been completely in sync on our thoughts on what we saw like on Twitter, that what jumped out to us. And there was one clip specifically that jumped out to me, and I saw the clip of the story and how Wolverine was acting and this way his voice was and stuff, and it wasn't him. Like, what I can't forgive is when you have a character that is so identifiable by their personality, by the type of character they are, and not just the ferocity of how they attack, but how they talk to people, how they interact, the kinds of things that they would say. I feel like anybody that's somewhat a Wolverine fan clearly kinda has an idea of what Wolverine
Yeah, it's
acts
like
like, and you can't just throw all that out the window and say, "We're gonna do our own personality for this person," right? That's like,
because
you
Wolverine's personality is just like kind of like I don't care, and then he'll like insult you and go do his own thing.
yeah, I mean, he's like kind of, it's not that he cares for the people that earn his
Yeah,
respect and love and all that kind of stuff, right? He is
but if
fiercely
he thinks you're
loyal.
wrong, he'll just go do it.
Yeah, and even the people that he is fiercely loyal to, he's still an asshole to them,
Yeah,
even when he's talking to them. But he will defend them. But like he doesn't have this like jokey personality. He doesn't have this like, not that he won't crack a joke every once in a while or whatever.
yeah,
And I'm not even referring to the fact when he flipped flipped him off in the plane like that. That's fine. I've seen him do that. The expression on his face, I've never seen. I've never seen him talk the way he was talking to Sabretooth. Like, I've seen him talk to Sabretooth and use similar words, but not in any way of manner of speaking that the actor was portraying him. And he was acting like a Joel Nathan Drake type character. And it was kind of like jarring, you know? Like it's just jarring to see a character you've been familiar with for like 40 years played in a completely different way from the type of personality and like just way of speaking and everything. And that just like I don't know if I can I don't know it maybe it's just the one or two sequences, right? But if this game is like full of those things and that's the character that we have, it's like one of the worst interpretations of a character I've seen. Like people even knock Suicide Squad and stuff, Jasper, but like the characters, the
Yeah.
personalities are pretty much on point. You know, it's
Yeah.
like archetype for hey, this is what Harley Quinn acts like. This is what you know Joker acts like, or this is what Lex Luthor acts like. We're as fans of Marvel or DC or comic books and all the cartoons and all this stuff. Like it's I'm super identifiable, and for me, I've lost faith in that relationship that they have right now, and I seen their Jean Grey, seen Logan. I am not excited. Like I'm almost scared for them to make an X-Men game, bro.
I've been telling you since it got leaked. It ain't gonna be it.
Um, it's I don't know, man. Cybergunner says, "Is it Logan or the gamers who are pussified?" I don't. It's not. It's not about the even. People are making this about the culture war stuff and everything too. Like all the Sweet Baby Ink shit and all that other kind of stuff, right? I think they just don't understand who the character is, like as a the personality. Like I can't like see something that's been portrayed one way that's so identifiable as the easy archetype for that character, and then have him act completely in a different way and not be jarring to me. You know what I mean? It's like what who is that guy? That's not Logan, it's not Wolverine. Um so I don't know. The gameplay looks really fun. I think as a game it can still be really fun to play, and I think a lot of people that aren't don't really care about the character that much, right? We'll probably play this and have a blast and not really think too much about it. But like for people that are like big Marvel fans, or people that are like really familiar with Wolverine, um,
And I think
I
that's going
think
to
it's
be a
going to be
hard
off
thing
putting.
because Wolverine is definitely one of the more identifiable and recognizable characters because of the longevity of like Hugh Jackman's portrayed him and the
Yeah,
popularity of like the X-Men 90s TV show. Wolverine is just a big standout character. And if you don't get that right, a lot of people are going to see that because he is a big character.
yeah. And I think that's the difference, Cyber. Like you want to fuck up dudes in the game and to have a blast with the action as Wolverine, and I think they nailed that part. Like the action in it, like they nailed it. But like I do give a fuck how Wolverine talks. You know, like I do give a fuck about the kinds of things that Wolverine would say. Like I'm more interested in these games for the story than I am the gameplay necessarily because they're telling a Marvel story. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Like, and I think there's going to be a ton of people that are going to love this game, and that's fine. But for me, I'm like I don't know if I'll be able to get past that stuff, you know. So, it'll be interesting to see how it does. I think there is a lot of BS out there targeting it for other reasons, as well. So, you have legitimate stuff that gets like mixed in with all of the other bullshit that's out there. People that are just mad about the physical games thing, or people that are turning it into like a culture war thing and stuff like that. Um, for me, it's not about anything other than just the portrayal of a character that I. So it's my second favorite Marvel character, right? First is Gambit, and I've been a huge Marvel fan ever since I was a little kid. So It is what it is. Yeah, and if you wanna play it and you're super excited about it, Cyber, dude, more power to you, man. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from being excited for it. I'm just saying I'm not as excited as I would have been if I saw a better portrayal of the actual character from an acting, writing perspective, and maybe delivery, you know? Um, it just seems off.
It'll be interesting to check out. I never get excited for Insomniac anymore. Like early to early 2010s, early 2000s, Insomniac was like one of the best developers out there. I feel like, and now I just feel like they're so basic that I just don't get excited for their games anymore.
Yeah,
So even if it came to PC, I wouldn't play it.
yeah. Cyber said if it wasn't a good story, then Marvel wouldn't have greenlit this game, right? Well, I mean, Marvel's greenlit a bunch of shit before, bro. Like, I mean, like they've greenlit the Avengers game. They greenlit a bunch. Like, dude, I mean, go back in the day to the fucking amount of Marvel games that came out that used to be shit. You know,
Or
they've
Star Wars
greenlit,
games,
they've
they're out there
greenlit,
too.
they've greenlit shit movies. I mean, they've done the same in the
Look at their
movie
TV
universe
shows.
too. I mean, I'm a huge MCU fan, but if one of them is like that's whack, you know, or like they bastardize a character, I ain't afraid to say it, you know. Um, it's it's interesting though when it's like somebody else's work, you know, it's not theirs, but it's like a collaboration in some form or fashion. Because like they're gonna still sell it. They're gonna go out there and be like, yeah, yeah, check out this game because you know they've put a lot into it. And yeah, they did sign off. Yeah, okay, whatever. That doesn't mean I have to like it. Yeah, they've made
And I
some
think
different decisions for sure.
Disney and Marvel, or not, or Disney is kind of in the same boat that Xbox is, where Disney was trying to branch out and grow and just make everything for everyone. And then they kind of pulled that back. I think Kevin Feige was like, "We're going to start focusing on the movies again, get them out in quality and not quantity, and along with TV
Yes.
shows." And that's kind of the Xbox strategy as well right now. Is
Yeah.
they've pulled a lot of that back.
Yeah. They're kind of like voice. Like, it was the same message, really, is what
Yeah,
he had said. You know, which makes a lot of sense. And I think Marvel right now for me is for the movies are cooking. Like I love
yeah.
Fantastic Four. I think fucking Spider-Man Brand New Day was absolutely amazing.
The new
Um,
Doomsday trailer looked amazing.
God, that Doomsday trailer was like insane, dude. Like in absolutely fucking insane. That Doomsday trailer gave me chills, bro. I cannot wait. And that's coming out the same day as Dune 3. And I'm a big fan of the first two Dune movies, but I'm seeing Doomsday first.
Yep.
And then I'll see Dune. But like, you know, the it's what the thing for me too is like we don't get Wolverine games very often, you know? Like you get like a hope that oh my god, this is what it's going to be. And then when you see the character isn't who you're familiar with as a character, why you've loved the character, what you've grown to appreciate the character from a personality style. Um and it just is like give you this feeling when I see the story parts, you know? It seems off. Um it in like Hugh Jackman, you referenced Hugh Jackman,
Yeah.
Jasper. Like, you know, he's dealing with live action. So yeah, you have to have these scenes where you are portraying more things, right? This is a video game, you know? But even Hugh Jackman, I can't even point to scenes where he was acting this like some of these parts I've already seen in these clips from the game, right? And he already had to toe the line more with, you know, humanizing him and all that other kind of
Yeah.
stuff, you know? But you know, even with Professor X and Logan, he was still being a dick to him for a lot of the movie, even though he was taking care of him. You know, like just because that's his personality, even though you know you saw the other side of him too. And but even the way he delivers that is more Logan's personality from the comics. Now it's it's a stretch. It's about as stretch as you can go, right?
Yeah.
This takes it too far, in my opinion. Like, this takes it too far to, like, almost sounds like a regular person at times. Wolverine never sounds like a regular guy, you know? Hugh Jackman's Wolverine never sounds like a regular guy. He's bad guy, you know? The guy you don't wanna fuck with at any point. Um,
And I think that's what I was going back to. I think that's the hard part is everyone identifies Wolverine with Hugh Jackman now, and
yeah, and I
that's gonna be a
don't
hard thing to break.
exactly. Yeah, it will be for sure, but that's why I was pointing that because a lot of people are like, "Well, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine
Yeah,
has emotion and stuff." He does, but even in the same kind of lines that they had here in this game, he would have had a completely different delivery on
yeah,
it. You know, he would have sounded like more like like a grizzled ass in delivering the
yeah.
way that the lines are being said. You know, so even if you want to have those some of those same story beats in there, like he isn't just gonna be like, "Oh, I think you need this beer more than I do," under his breath. Like it's just not who he is. Like anyway, I've ranted about this for a lot over the last few days and stuff. It is interesting seeing this much backlash towards Sony though. I think a lot of it is because of the whole physical games thing. Um, and it's going to be interesting to see if that has any kind of carryover or if this is all just going to be like a flash in the pan, you know. So, who would you want to make Marvel games? Like, do you want to see like tons of greenlit Marvel games across the board and stuff from tons of different studios, or
Um, no, I think it. I mean, it's obviously going to depend on the type of game you're making. I guess.
they tried Midnight Suns with
I mean,
Firaxis? I thought it was amazing. Nobody cared to play it.
that game was great.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, it all depends on the game. I think let's just stick to like Wolverine. I think there's a lot of other studios that can make a better Wolverine game. Even like, I'm not saying this just because it's Xbox and like there's a lot of Xbox fans in it, but I think the Coalition could make a really good dark Wolverine game that's violent. And sure, there's probably better ones out there that I'm just forgetting right now. But
yeah. I mean, Ninja Theory could probably do it, but they'd probably try and bring too much emotion into it too. You know, I I was talking about this in somebody's chat. I don't remember whose I was watching, but they were talking. It was Fonz. Yeah, he was talking about this stuff too. And it's like now I appreciate Sony's storytelling in their first party games, right? In those games, I think they do tell really good stories and stuff, right? And I think they were praised for it so much, like, early on, like, into PS3 going into PS4 generation. You know, you had the God of Wars, you had The Last of Us, they're just hitting home runs, the Uncharted games, all these things, and you're winning all these awards and for the stories and game of the year, and it's because of the stories, and you see, like, when these voice actors and the writers are up there talking at the Game Awards, it's like, they're like, we've spent a lot of years, investing into these characters and this telling this story, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like it's gotten to their, I'm not saying that it's gotten to their heads, but it's gotten to the point where like, I feel like they're trying to do too much now. It's like
yeah,
we have to like be so emotional and so in depth and so looking for like to pull emotion out of everything and really overdevelop these characters and stuff. And it's like sometimes you can just kind of like let the obvious be obvious. You know what I mean? Without having to try and figure out ways to pull on people's heartstrings for the story in every single opportunity you can. And I feel like that's kind of some of the stuff that's happened with the writing is it's like gotten to be too much. You know, it's like what else can we do to really elevate the emotion in this thing? It's like, hey man, you imagine it like a Halo game if like Master Chief just starts talking about his damn feelings all the time, or was like,
yeah, I know. Well,
like,
that's what I'm. That's why it really annoyed me with the new Halo game in the new missions is I feel like they fucked Sergeant Johnson's so much. They just try to make him do like one-liners and make jokes constantly. And I'm like, that's not what Sergeant Johnson is all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to when you're doing characters that people know, you know? Like whenever they do cast a new Wolverine in the MCU, I don't envy whoever has to play him.
Yeah,
That is I don't know if there's another role. I mean, maybe Iron Man.
yeah,
Like it's going to be hard to replace some of these actors because it's just it's not the same, you know. Video game, you should have more opportunity to go wild with it, but it doesn't seem like that's what they did. They seem to. It's kind of like the Avengers thing, Jasper, right? Where it's like the cousin that just seems off and is not really portraying the character properly, right? Um, let's see. We got Gamescom coming up, and I alluded to this earlier. We talked about it a little bit, but Ori may be coming back. Um, is that like enough of a big surprise, you think, for Gamescom?
mm, I mean,
I mean,
how
we don't
big
usually
is?
get huge things at Gamescom, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess anything at Gamescom is kind of
Is Sony even at
exciting because
Gamescom this year?
usually I don't think they were last year either, but uh, yeah, just the announcements at Gamescoms are always kind of like more lower tier anyway. You don't really expect anything because most of the time it's just updates or like random.
Hmm.
Here's a new controller design kind of thing. So I
Yeah,
guess anything at Gamescom would be a surprise and nice to have for gamers.
right. There's not like a showcase, I don't think. I think they're just doing like
That 10-hour Twitch stream thing or whatever again.
yeah, they're just doing like I think there's like 2 days of streams and they're gonna have like interviews, sit down and talk to there's gonna be a new Gears trailer, I guess, for the story as well. So that'll be there. Apparently Fable, they're gonna show some stuff for Fable. So they're gonna have some really cool shit that we can, dive into and talk about and stuff. I wonder if there is any other surprises besides just the rumored Ori thing. Um, they've had at Gamescom before some pretty cool announcements for
I mean, Halo Wars 2 was announced at
yeah.
Gamescom before, so
So Halo Wars 3. That's it, Jasper. You win us over. I mean, if
I
that
think
got
also wasn't Scalebound announced at Gamescom or maybe like the last trailer or something was at
no,
Gamescom for it.
I think the last trailer was at E3
Mm.
because they had, or maybe it was game. No,
I mean,
because
that's
that was
10 years
Platinum
ago at this
Games,
point,
right?
but yeah.
It
I
may
think
have
it
been
was
at
at
Tokyo
Gamescom.
Game Show. I don't remember when the last. I remember that it was canceled shortly after that last trailer,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
like a shock.
Anyway, but they've done cool stuff at Gamescom before. I just the way they do the shows now at Gamescom though is kind of weird, and you just don't expect big things because they do that where they have like the random like UK or whatever EU community managers, whatever they're called. I don't even know if they
Hmm.
work for Xbox or if they're just like journalists, but they have them host the show, and it just kind of feels weird. And they talk about some
Yeah,
random game for like 30 minutes.
yeah, they do like it's like they have like a desk set up, and they look
Yeah,
like they're in a newsroom kind of or whatever, and they're just sitting down talking back and forth, and they'll have different developers on. I think they kind of doing it like IGN used to do back in the day for like Eddie
yeah.
3 and stuff like that. Um, there's some cool stuff that to expect. I was planning on doing stream, but I was realizing there's not an actual like showcase, you know. So unless there's not an actual showcase, I mean, I'm not gonna sit there fucking like 8 hours and be like, oh look at let's listen to this person talk for 30 minutes. Um, so I am excited though. I think they are gonna have some good stuff more than anybody else. Who else is showing up? Anybody? I don't
Uh,
even.
I think I think there's a lot of third party devs, but I mean there always is.
I'm gonna go to Gamescom's site Is there anything?
Yeah.
But chat. Have you guys heard about anything else going on at Gamescom besides Xbox stuff that you're excited about?
It's
Because
Summer
I'm just
Games
asking
Fest.
as somebody who wants to be excited for more stuff.
Oh, I did see Alien Isolation 2 is supposed to be on the Xbox show, right? That's a pretty
Ooh,
cool.
yeah, they're gonna have Alien Isolation 2 up there. Okay, here some game highlights from Gamescom 2026.
Yep.
A
Ace
word.
Combat. I'm always excited for that.
Why is Worms Weapons of Mass Destruction up there? Didn't that game come out like fucking 15 years
10
ago?
years ago.
And Nintendo Switch Sports Resort. Um, Alien Isolation 2. You got Resonance of Plague Tale Legacy. The Tree Games for Everyone. That's an indie arena booth. Oni Musha will be there. And Negan says Gamescom is Xbox. I should just call it XCOM. That name's taken by a
That's
game.
taken.
You got Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Songs of the Past. Isn't that the new like content coming to Witcher 3?
Yeah, it's the new DLC for The Witcher 3
It's crazy. That game's so old and they're
or
putting
whatever
new
it is.
content
Yeah.
out. Rayman Legends Retold's gonna be shown. Seafarer, the ship sim. Star Wars Zero Company will be there. I'm not talking about just necessarily at Xbox's thing. I'm talking about in general. Oh, hey, Jasper. Ace Combat
Yep.
8 is on the Gamescom site.
That's what I said. Ace Combat 8 is going to be there, so I'm always excited for that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't listening.
Yeah, you're fine. You can't read and listen at the same time. I get it.
Yeah, I can't. Absolutely can't.
Is Jeff Keighley doing his thing? Right?
Huh? Oh, maybe. Oh, there's like opening night live,
Yeah. I'm
right?
assuming there'll be stuff there.
When is that? When's opening night live? I forgot about that thing.
Uh, August 25th at 8 p.m. I don't know if that's Eastern or what. It doesn't say.
So that's on Tuesday?
Is it a Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay. Well, I'll live stream that. How about that, chat? Will you guys come watch opening night live? His opening night live is his worst show every single time, though.
I know.
Is this the one like? Can we get Keeley down to 2 shows a year? Would y'all vote for that, or do you like the opening night live? If it were me, I would say summer show. Go along with all the summer shit. I know it's summer still now. I'm talking about the one in June because he just had a fucking show in June, right? And
Yeah. For
then the
E3.
Game Awards. Omi Tony says, I just came from a river. Oh, I didn't read keep. I was like, what? I just came from a river paddle boat concert, and my body is ready for this Xbox Con fun speculation. Right on, dude. I hope you had fun on the river. When I was a teenager, I went floating on a river on one of the tubes and went tubing, you know? And my dumb ass, I guess, didn't put enough sunscreen on or something. I don't remember if I put any on. And it was in the summer. It was like 100 degrees outside. I peeled, no joke. I peeled 3 layers. I had a new nickname after that from that day on. I got so overheated. I ended up throwing up in my friend's tent.
Damn. That's nice.
And yeah, after their parents let us drink, I only had one drink. It wasn't from the drinking. It was from like being sick from the sun. And I had a sun, like I was maroon. Like I probably should have been in the hospital. It was that bad. I mean, it was really bad. I literally had 3 layers. I was peeling for fucking weeks, man. It was insane. Anyway, so you'll probably never catch me on a river again. Because my super pasty ass white skin just fucking burns, bro. Um,
I was there's a reset error post that has like the games I guess confirmed for the opening night live. Uh Gears E Day, Metro 2039, so that could be really cool to finally see Metro
mm-hmm,
2039. They say Paradox new grand strategy game. There was a leak, I think, like or a rumor, maybe like 2 weeks ago, like of a Lego like city skylines kind of thing that they were making. So maybe that's what that is. I don't know. Silent Hill Townfall, the Witcher DLC, and so that's the big stuff. That's I guess is it confirmed to be at the Keeleys for the
okay.
opening night live?
I mean, this is a play. Like the cool thing about shows like that, though, is like sometimes there's just something out of the blue. You know, that
Yeah,
is
that's
just like, holy shit, that's here. That's awesome. You know, so I'm hoping that's what we get at the Keeley. So we'll co-stream it here, um, and watch the Keeleys. I think I've probably done every single one of those. Because I think it started after we started the channel, so might as well keep it going. Um, yeah, I think Xbox is probably going to be the star of the show again. They have the most to show out of anybody. It seems like Flight Sim is going to be there. Apparently, they're going to have some updates on that too. Um, Omi Tony says opening night live can help make the Xbox content seem better. By what opening night live being so bad? Yeah, it's true. It's possible. Ubisoft is listed. I think that's probably just for Rayman. Crafton, Focus, EA, a Zero Company was listed. Okay.
yeah.
Bandai Namco, Capcom is listed here. Oh, Onimusha. Okay. We could see some more Stranger Than Heaven as well. Embark. That's
Probably like
interesting.
an update to the finals or Arc Raiders or something.
Yeah, I mean they just had a big patch for Arc Raiders, like a big update for it. They could be showing off a new map for Arc Raiders, maybe. We got Sega, Konami. Sega's doing Alien Isolation 2.
Yeah.
Uh, I didn't see a Konami game on this list, so I wonder if it could be like Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill was on the list I read off, I think,
Was
so
it?
it's probably that.
Okay. Awesome. Only Tony says Crazy Taxi World Tour. That'd be good to see.
I think that was on that if you go to the Gamescom website and you click all games or whatever, I think it shows Crazy Taxi up there.
Oh, nice. That could be fun to watch. NetEase games. Street Fighter 6. Hmm. Persona. Halo Campaign Evolved.
That was
It's
on
just
the
gonna be
Xbox announced page. They said it was gonna be there and, like, playable, so they'll probably just have, like, a demo station set up for it.
all right. Okay. Um.
Because the Xbox, news article they put out listed a few of the stuff that's gonna be there.
Blood of Dawnwalker can be there. It's gonna be cool. They have Forza Horizon
Yeah,
6 there.
that comes out pretty soon too.
Wonder if we'll see. Do you think we'll get a new Fable trailer, or just like they have an interview with them talking about it?
Probably probably just an interview. They may show, like, another snippet of, like, the gameplay while they're talking or something, but I don't
Yeah.
think you'll get much.
Mac 22TH54 appreciate the $2 super chat. It says, Mav, you honestly think Keeley would make Xbox the star? No, I was assuming Tony was joking, basically saying the opening night live would be so bad that inherently at Xbox's streams, all of their stuff would stand out to be so good
Well,
because
didn't they
people,
wasn't it was it last year or the year before where he was like, "We're bringing out, the guy that made the Starfield soundtrack. I forgot his name right now, but he's like, "We're bringing him out. He's going to play the Starfield soundtrack," and then no one cared. They just like,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
I thought it was cool.
I know, but just like the audience there didn't
Yeah.
give a shit.
Yeah, because they'd all been shitting on Starfield for so long. They're like, oh great, we don't like this game, even though they fucking would. They got their heads out their asses. Um yeah, I'm kind of excited for Gamescom. I guess like, I'm not as looking forward to Gamescom as I have in the past. Because even though there is all these rumors of a new game out there that's kind of like spoiled somewhat of what it could be, it's like kind of dampened my speculation. Like I almost hope it isn't Ori, just so I can be surprised that it's something else that I
Yeah.
would rather have. Not that no knock against Ori. I do like Ori, so I am excited about that. But like I would rather have Killer
Well,
Instinct
you don't know what
or
the new Sea of Thieves update is going to include. You got to watch for that.
oh god. Um, I think they may be done with Sea of Thieves content
I think so
after
because
this update.
the big update where you could like create everything you wanted
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. I think they're probably going to start winding it down too.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of like, hey,
The endpoint.
we've created the ability for y'all to keep making stuff for yourselves. You know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The big update where
Oh,
you could like create everything.
I was trying to see. I had some more things. I had bookmarked something I had wanted to bring up, and I can't find it. Where do you go to your bookmarks on
Like on
Twitter?
Google?
No, on
Oh,
Twitter.
I don't know.
I'm so bad at navigating shit, bro.
I haven't used Twitter on the computer in probably like 3 years. Profile? Yeah, you just click your profile, like click your little picture, and then at least on the app.
Uh, no. Is it under? Oh, it's under history. Why would you just history should just be like what you like anyway. Um. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to bring up. Okay, so Marcus Leto of Bungie fame, who then also started Certain Affinity. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's moved on from Certain Affinity now because his doesn't list it on his Twitter profile. It just says
Hmm.
co-creator of Halo, veteran game developer and creative leader, consultant, helping teams craft compelling games. So
Sounds like he's moved on.
does anybody know if he's still with Certain Affinity? Like he founded them. Um, but he said this, Jasper. If I were to make another Halo these days, I bet many of you would not like it. It would be a lot darker with a more grounded military feel. PvP would be the brains, PvE the heart and soul. It would not be everyone's Halo. I would probably bench much of the current lore, respect it, but build a new future narrative for both the old and new audiences, which makes much more sense. For those of you really concerned about this, I get it. We need to sit together, break bread, and enjoy some deep conversation along with some fine beverages, of course. So what are you like? If we're looking at like a Halo reboot in some sense, right? Would you be open
I
to that
like
now?
everything. I like everything he said except the part where he says throw away most of the lore. I feel like you can still make that game and just go to a different time period or planet or whatever you want inside the lore and still make that game.
Right.
Because it doesn't have to involve Master Chief. Like, if you just want to go tell like some story like 1,000 years before with like the Protheans or whatever the hell they were called, and the Forerunners, like you can do that if you want. Or like the ancient humans, all that shit. Like you can do that in the Halo lore. You don't have to include Master Chief in every game, and that's the part that is kind of annoying me the last few years. Is like I understand he's the face of the game and the face of Xbox, but with uh, the developers and the way that they've been putting out Halo games in the past few years, I just wish they would avoid Master Chief because I feel like the more they try to make stories with him, the more that's going to destroy that character. So I just wish they would avoid it
Right. Yeah,
until they get to a place where they can make a good game.
I think there's a lot of prequel stories they could tell with Master Chief, and you could be
Yeah,
more interesting necessarily than trying to find the next thing to do, to like save the world again. Like if you could tell prequel stories about some of his like more grounded missions, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
the ones that
Or
were
even ODSTs. You don't have to do that, or just
yeah,
a random Marine. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
would if if the rumors were true and they actually were seeking like to hand it off to Activision, right? And they put a team together under Activision, including some of the Halo Studios people, right? Because I think they would still include some of them. Um, Maybe bring in somebody like Marcus Leto, right, to lead the team because he's familiar with doing it. He's founded studios before. He's worked on Halo like since Halo's existed. Um, would you like? Let's say you want to tell stories without rebooting it necessarily.
Yeah.
I think that would work. My in my mind, I
Yeah, I
was
mean,
kind
that
of like, it's like
because
I
you don't
want
have to
something
set it
simple.
after the events of the current game. You can set it anytime you want. So that's the thing. Like you can tell stories in any time period. You don't have to just be like right after Infinite. That's when we got to tell our story.
Yeah, yeah, you could be like 1,000 years in the future, or like in the
Yeah,
past, or whatever, right? Um, what time? What year is it in Halo? I forget.
I think it's like, is it 25 something? 20 like 2552, I think, or something like that.
1,000 years in the past would be a stretch.
Yeah.
um, Maybe like 100 years in the past. I don't know. I forget in the lore when
I
they.
think Halo Wars takes place like 100 years before the events of like Master Chief and stuff, if I remember correctly. I don't remember, but I think it's definitely way before the events of like Master Chief.
Yeah, but in Halo Wars, there's Spartans.
They're Spartan ones, I think.
How long did
Right?
Spartan
Yeah,
ones
I don't
exist
know.
before
Maybe
Spartan
it was like
twos?
50 years. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember all the timelines.
But it was they were definitely like asleep for a while.
Yeah.
Because then Halo Wars 2 brought them into the time period that the games take place now.
It's like I feel like he's somebody that could do a good job in leading Halo, but like he would also need like a workhorse team, you know, because he's had like certain affinity. I'm not gonna say he because I'm not sure which projects he led or whatever and all that stuff, but certain
Yeah.
affinities had a lot of different other projects that weren't Halo related as well that didn't pan out, or they didn't get off the ground or didn't get, you know, and that happens with lots of teams. So it's not necessarily. I'm just saying, like, we can look at the runnings of Halo, but also certain affinity was somewhat a part of that, and whose fault was that? We don't know, but he's coming from a perspective, I think, here as like a Halo fan, and he's coming from the perspective of like having a passion for the brand. And if he was to do something new now, this is what he would do, right? And there's also we got to remember Marcus Leto is a very multiplayer focused person. He was the multiplayer designer for Halo back in the day, and then that's what they led with at certain affinity. The dude invented matchmaking, right? Like
Yeah.
So, like, as far as it comes with Halo, I feel like his project would be multiplayer focused for sure. And I'm kind of looking at it, and I think he would make like a Destiny almost Halo esque type game because what he says is like
Well, the,
PvP would be the brains, PvE the heart and soul.
yeah, I feel like though where he says like grounded, I feel like he's maybe it's just because I guess like the way Halo plays and the current kind of games industry, but I feel like it'd be more like a modern warfare feel, like a modern warfare 2019 feel, is what I expect for like grounded Halo, I guess.
Yeah.
But with the PVE and PVE part, it definitely sounds like a Destiny style kind of thing.
So this post that he had blew up. It has 977 comments on it. You know, like tons of attention on it. Do you think there's a part of this where he's kind of trying to plant the seed?
Mm.
Like, look, Asha, you know,
Yeah, but I feel like it like developers have done this before, and nothing's really came of it. So maybe he's just throwing that out there, or maybe he just I mean, it's Twitter after all, like, so he just wants his opinion out there. Now, if anything happens with it, I doubt it because it's really not up to him.
yeah. Did you see his comments on the prequel missions? And this is original. Hey,
I
this is
think I
an
saw him
original
before,
Halo
but
guy.
yeah,
You know, he said trying to
there's been a few of like OG devs come out and talk about it, so
like in a negative
could be
way
mix
or a
them up.
good way.
Uh, I would say more
Both.
mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This post was on the 16th. He showed it is it playing the prequel missions, trying to weather it through the prequel missions. The design of one murder room after another is so tedious. Might keep playing, but for tonight did not finish. And why are there so many racks of human weapons all over this Covenant ship? Because they're stealing the human weapons, man.
Mhm.
Come on, Marcus. Started playing the prequel missions in Halo CE. Well, I already feel like the revamped Covenant levels in the main. Well, I already really like the revamped Covenant levels in the main game. This fresh new approach is very cool. Then he went on to say that he didn't like after continuing to play. Um,
Yeah, the
yeah,
new levels just fucking suck. Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. It felt like, yeah. I mean, I guess I get it, but I had fun with them.
they felt like Spartan Ops, but single player and not good.
Spartan Ops. Spartan Ops was fun.
Yeah, but it just the way that it just designed and they kept reusing everything. It just had a very like I don't know, just a terrible map design feel, and they fucked Sergeant Johnson over.
So also where we, I just saw this. Idle Sloth had posted this. Jasper. Remember how earlier we're talking about Asha Sharma them putting like platform first, you know?
Yeah,
Apparently on their YouTube channel, on their trailers, they started taking off the PlayStation logos and Steam logos, Nintendo and shit on the end of the trailers.
like I'm assuming recent trailers. They didn't go back and edit old trailers, did they?
I, that'd be crazy if they did that. But um Minecraft Dungeons 2,
Hmm.
for example. And that's
Well, I
like
mean, it's coming to Steam. You can buy it on Steam right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying as far as like when we're all saying
Yeah,
like you don't have to put the damn things on the on your channel,
yeah, yeah.
like let that be on their YouTube channel, you know, or like just the mentality of having it that way. So apparently, this trailer was like 2 months ago, um, and at the end of this Minecraft 2 trailer, it had all of those platforms. Um, I'm
I mean, I really don't care. Like the trailer stuff with whatever
Yeah.
logos are at the end of it never really bothered me. Like it's kind of whatever. But I get it why people are like,
Yeah.
it's on your channel. Like don't put the other logos. But that's just like such a moot point to me that I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. I get it. It doesn't affect us in any way, right?
Yeah.
It does show it for me. What it does show is like their way of thinking again has shifted more to what the common sense kind of was that seemed
Yeah.
to be missing there. Um, and that's I think what the biggest thing that's happened with Asha is like she's brought the common sense back to Xbox. Does that make sense? Do you guys agree with this, chat? Like, has Asha Sharma kind of brought the common sense back? It's like looked at things and it was like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? Why can't we do this? Like, and just kind of like listen. I think she's been listening to a lot of gamers and also like a lot of people in the industry that have been very familiar with how the whole industry has been ran for the last 40 years and just taking all that in and saying like we need to just do what the business model is. It seems like, you know, it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's common sense more so just that it's just the way that she sees it. Like she's just going back to like the old strategy from like the 360 era. I don't know if that's common sense or if that's just a change in philosophy overall for the brand.
Well, it never made sense. Even going multi-plat, what never made sense to me is that your own showcases having the trailers, having the splash screens for the other brands on the end of the trailers. Like,
Yeah, but like I get the thought process of them going multi-plat is to make more money. Like that was the whole point of it was like they see a whole nother consumer base that they can make money off of.
right.
So in that mindset, that is common sense.
If you're completely just a multi-platform company,
Yeah.
right? But not if you're trying to actually hold a platform. That's where like the common sense was kind of out the window in some regards. Like there can be like debates about putting games other places and all that kind of stuff. I personally don't care if other people get to play games, right? But from a business perspective, for Microsoft's and Xbox's side, it's like you're either going multi-plat and you're just doing all the way aboard and that's what you're doing, and or you're a platform company, right? They were trying to bridge the gap, and it would be a perfect world if gamers didn't really care and just bought the platform for the merits of the devices and every game is playable everywhere. But that's unfortunately not the world we live in with the other platforms, right? So therefore, it always made sense to push your platform first over the others. Like, hey, later that day, PlayStation put a tweet out, put a fucking trailer out. You don't have to have it at your actual show that you're trying to, because like this is the whole platform first thing is ultimately what a platform is. It's the ends to it's a storefront, right? It's a storefront
Yeah.
ecosystem, right? And that's what Xbox is. And it's the driving factor of everything they do is to sell products, right? And the reason you have a platform is because that's where the real money's made. Right? Valve stopped making as many games and they just fucking are a storefront now. Because like you're making money off of everybody else's work and your own, right? So the real value for having a platform is your storefront and making all the money off of everything. And that's what Xbox they're not interested in just being a publisher because there's way more money in being the place where you're
But
making money off of everybody else's shit too, right?
that's why I say it's not a common sense thing, it's a philosophy thing because she changed the idea of what Xbox is back to being a platform and not a software company. Whereas, like Microsoft itself, and I think Phil, in a lot of ways, started seeing Xbox as a software first company
Right.
because they've seen the success of like Office 365, where it's on every single computer, and they make a bajillion dollars every year because everyone owns a copy of or a license of Word, so because they have to use it for work.
Hmm.
And that was the goal with I think Xbox is to try to get everyone on a subscription service with Game Pass. That's where they saw the 100 million users coming from. Is if they can sell it as like a the Word or the Office 365 of video games, then that
Yeah.
would work. And that you have to be a software company to do that. You can't be a
The
hardware
inherent
company.
issue with the philosophy though is like that's not the where the money is in the store, right? So like if they just go software and they lose the reasons for people to go to their store, then they're
Then they
just
make their 30% cut off of whatever other store buys it.
well, they'll just make their,
Yeah.
the other store makes the 30% cut
Yeah.
on,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
What you know what
they're
I mean?
just
Yeah.
conceding that, and then your platform at that point just continues to diminish value until the point where they say, is it even worth having the store because it's costing as much to run it as it does is it's bringing in, right? So that's where like these manufacturers or platform holders get into this like, okay, do we continue this or do we stop it because it's expensive for them to run all this shit and to have all these people, these engineers, have all the security stuff that you're doing. I mean, it's like whole infrastructure, all the servers, and all this shit, right? At like what point does all the cost of running all that stuff not meet the amount of money the store's pulling in, right? And
Well, that's
that's
why they
where
were
you,
subsidizing me with Minecraft.
yeah. So you get in a risky thing where you're like, well, we've gone so far outside and we're just telling and just marketing the other stores. Because when you're putting their logo on it, you're it's like you're saying go buy this there as well, right? And that's what they're trying to do. Like, so
And I don't think they cared at that point because they were
yeah,
still making money. As long as they were making money and growing a consumer base on that, they were like, "We're still gonna make money."
yeah, yeah. But I think they've taken such
Yeah,
a massive hit with their storefront and with
yeah,
Game Pass that they were like, oh, this had really actually, and that's the common sense part. Like,
yeah,
if you telling people to go, hey, go buy these products other places, then they're gonna, right? Like, and that's gonna take a hit. And if you start to see that hit, well, you're like, oh shit. Well, they actually guess they actually listened to us and they did it. Well, shit. Now we're in a pickle. You we're gonna have to reverse this. That's what I mean by
because I
bringing the
mean
common sense back a little bit. It's just like
yeah,
and it goes to little things. Like even if you're doing the other stuff, right? Like if you make a product, you should advertise it for your store.
yeah,
I mean, I use this analogy before. It's like Walmart making something or having like a product they're doing a commercial for, you know? And the thing that they did even this was third party shit, which even made less sense. Like like at the end of the Stranger Than Heaven thing that they did, like they'd spent all this money, went to Japan, filmed all this really cool shit, probably super expensive, right? This is a marketing deal you have on a game that you are paying for to be in your subscription service, and at the end, you're telling people that they can go buy this on a PlayStation. So your deal, your money, all this stuff you spent, you just at the end said, "Hey, go buy it somewhere else too if you want." When you didn't even have to do that. You could have just said, "Go buy it here." And they get nothing if somebody goes and buys Stranger Than Heaven on PlayStation. They don't even get the 70% set because it's not their own fucking game.
Yeah.
You know, like shit like that just like has is doesn't make any fucking sense. The only way I can imagine that it would make some sense is they were still trying to push the open storefront philosophy, and that mindset was there because that was their back door into everywhere. And that was something more for like
Or
the
if they had
lawyers and all that shit that are battling the against like Epic and Google and Apple
I
and
mean,
all this stuff.
I'm sure they've signed crazy ass deals before, but like maybe if they helped in the funding process, they're like, with every copy you sell, we get X amount of dollars off that X copy. So they didn't
Right.
care if it was bought or not on another platform because they would still get a kickback, if
Yeah.
they help fund the game.
Nate Dogg says, but Mav, weren't you for all this stuff? I was never for them putting the fucking logos at the end of the trailers, bro. Like that should never made sense to me. Why would you have be like Walmart and have a commercial for your product and then at the end show a Target also available at fucking Target? Like it just doesn't make any sense. Now people were like, "Oh, what if Walmart made it and they started selling their products over at Target too?" Okay, fine, but they would not. They would still push Walmart as the main store, right? Like, and even then, they especially
The
wouldn't do it on third party shit.
in chat, the Desire 40K, he brought up a point is that what if BMW made a Honda or whatever? It kind of reminds me of my car, the one I have now. It's basically made by Subaru. Like
Yeah.
on the door chassis, it says Subaru. The engine in it's a Subaru, but it has a Toyota badge on it, and it's sold by
Mhm.
Toyota dealerships. So
Yeah, but they don't
it's a
market it.
Toyota, but
But yeah, but they like have a deal
yeah,
between Subaru and Toyota, and
yeah,
like if you see a commercial for a Toyota, Toyota, they won't say on the bottom, you can also get something just
yeah,
like this at Subaru. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Um. So yeah, I'm like Nate Dogg. My whole take on multiplat Xbox One multiplat was that it didn't affect me. It still doesn't affect me. I don't give a shit if somebody else
Yeah.
plays a game on another platform. It doesn't affect me as a consumer of playing the games, like except for whatever ends up happening due to the reaction of people outside of this, outside of my experience, right? And that caused ripple effects that ended up damaging the brand. That stuff I care about. And if you go back to when all this shit originally started, and many a times always said from a business perspective, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't, from a business perspective, I wouldn't have done what Xbox did. If I had been running Xbox, I've maintained this from the very beginning. I would not do that shit, right? But
Call of Duty would have been exclusive.
I tried to look at it where they were coming from. I was like, well, there must be having it like from a games perspective, trying to find out a way to fund the games, right? Because like the games aren't selling enough, or maybe Game Pass was affecting that. Like they're reaching out there to put other games on other platforms to make more money on the fucking games, right? And like from I'm trying to understand like their perspective on that sense, right? And for me, like the hardware's still good, my PC is still good. I'm playing them. My Xbox is still good. I can get the same damn experience I always have. It didn't affect me whatsoever. I was still playing the same damn games, enjoying them. So I was making fun of the people that are selling their Xboxes for it because your experience didn't change whatsoever, right? A lot of those people sold their Xboxes, went and bought one again when they announced that Gears is going to be exclusive. They still would have been able to play Gears on their Xbox via Game Pass, just like if they had or hadn't sold their Xbox. Like nothing in that. No matter what the strategy was, that was always going to be the same. The game that I get to play is still going to be there in the service that is available to me on the platform that I prefer. So I was calling out people that were just selling their Xboxes for this because they must not really actually enjoyed the platform to begin with, because the platform itself didn't change. It was just other people got access to some of the stuff, right? Um, but as a business, I never would have done that whatsoever. And I said that from the get go. Like, it doesn't make sense um from that perspective, but I just wasn't angry about it because I'm not affected by it, you know? So I'm not out there like raging like people on Twitter were and all that other kind of shit. And saying they're selling their Xbox, all this other kind of stuff, because like, why? You know? I think the whole thing is kind of nonsensical to begin with. Like, the gamers, this whole reason it doesn't work and why I wouldn't do it is because gamers, we've all been trained. We've been trained the wrong way. We think backwards as consumers. Like, we don't think like normal consumers. Like, gamers are opposite of the, and it's because the companies have trained us to think a specific way over the course of the history of gaming. And that is what it is. You know? It like you get the gamers are looking for the next special cool shit that is gonna be something to talk about, and the platform is gonna have the like branding and marketing behind it to be like, you can only play this here, right? But there's really actually no real reason you can't play that anywhere else other than decide the decision to do it, right? It's not a technical thing or anything like that. It's just about bringing people to your store, right? Where inherently as consumers, if we just were to put all the coolness, like how special things make us feel or how awesome it is, and like, oh yeah, that's the place I got to be because this is this or whatever, if we put all that out of our minds, and all the gamers started thinking the same way about like more access to everywhere, all games is better, cheaper prices are better, all this kind of stuff, then we wouldn't have this like ability for these companies to take advantage of us the way they do. You
Yep.
wouldn't have Nintendo being able to take advantage of Nintendo customers, PlayStation being able to take advantage of the PlayStation customers, Xbox, and so on. Like
That's the exact reason why I can't stand console warring and fanboys anymore. Like, I'm just like, you are literally fighting to get fucked by the company. I'm
that's
like,
a
if you
yeah.
just
It's 100% what it is, but like that's what the mentality has. That's what the
yeah,
mentality is. And like, as somebody that is understanding the way that the culture is of gaming and the way that people are thinking it, like it's about them. It's about being the place to be. It's about being the
yeah,
thing to talk about, right? And for those reasons, I wouldn't do it because you're losing the cool card. You know, you losing that aspect, and it's because it's because gamers think that way. You know, and we can't get past it. Like, as a as gamers, it's how what we're brought up on. You know, like, I think the younger crowd doesn't care as much. Um, they don't care as much. It's us older guys like that grew up in the as Sega versus Nintendo, and Xbox, PlayStation, and PlayStation did the Dreamcast, or what did they do to Sega? Like, and then all the this they're making this exclusive, they're making that exclusive. The exclusivity wars about like money adding games and all this shit is like, fuck them, fuck that. Like, we can't let them win. It's like all this back and forth, and that's the competition from the companies, but a lot of it is to drive the energy and the excitement from us. Like, we root for this shit. That's why they do it. If we all flipped and we're like anti exclusives, then it would become more popular for them to not do it. If people would be like, "Hey, I'm rooting for the company that's doing more good consumer moves," then Xbox would be in first place. But that's not cool. That's not exciting, right? and therefore I wouldn't run Xbox like that. I would run Xbox to make money, just like they're they're trying to do now again. You know, like I think Phil had a lot of great ideas and great merits behind a lot of the things he did, but I think he like had a like more wishful thinking idea of what was possible. You know, same thing with like Sarah Bond with gamers and stuff, and it was too soon. You know, I just think like you said earlier, Jasper, people weren't ready for it. Like
Yep.
you got to be the cool shit, man. And despite how if it affects me or like pisses me off, like none of that shit pissed me off. I didn't get emotional over it. I like was laughing at people for selling their Xboxes over the
Mhm.
same experiences they were gonna get
Yeah.
anyway, you know? But I laugh at those people that sold it and bought it back. But you know what? Like the reality is Xbox needs those guys. All the platforms need
I mean,
those people.
I think that's. I mean, that's a majority. I feel like a lot of Xbox people are just like diehard Xbox people, whereas PlayStation has they
Oh, they have a
have that,
lot
but
of they have
they also have
casual.
a huge number of casuals that kind of outweigh that. Whereas Xbox is more like 50-50. It feels like.
Mhm. Um, Nate Dogg says, "Yeah, but PlayStation was getting all their games. That's why they sold their Xboxes. You can get those games." That's what I'm talking about, though. Is like that. It's like the whole us versus them mentality. Like that's how gamers have, and that's because the companies have portrayed that. If gamers inherently were against it, period, then it would change. But gamers aren't. You know, imagine like imagine like Doomsday, and they were saying like only at Cinemark. Because Cinemark paid a shit ton of money to fucking um or to Disney and Marvel, right? To have Doomsday only at Cinemark theaters. And like 40% of the world doesn't live close to a Cinemark. They have an
Yeah.
AMC or something else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they like and Cinemark's like, hey, it's a massive play for us because guess what? People are going to be asking for more Cinemark theaters, and people are gonna drive. We're gonna make so much more money, and then we're gonna build more theaters. We're gonna have more fans. You know, we're gonna become the number one theater in America, and we're gonna put AMC out of business. You know what I mean? That's the ridiculousness that I'm talking about. Is actually how fucking gaming works. You know what I mean? The consumers don't win in that world. Guess what happens? Oh, those Cinemark tickets are eventually going to go up in price when they have such a huge market share. And let's all root for it, right? I fucking laughed when I saw Colin Moriarty's thing the other day on Twitter. He's like, "I'm coming to a realization that we're not just what it's all about at PlayStation anymore. This is just something I'm not advocating for it. I'm just putting it out to the world. You guys asked for this shit. You guys asked for this shit. You made your bed. You can fucking lay in it. The shit they are putting out and the shit they are doing to you, none of you should be complaining about anything they fucking do. You asked for it all along the way. Every fucking shitty move they do. Remember when they went out with the first platform to go up to 70 earlier this gen? And everybody's like, it's
Yep.
time. It's needed.
It
Blah,
has
blah, blah,
to.
blah,
The
blah.
devs need to be paid.
And support that does. All you fucking guys that were out there like just championing every fucking anti-consumer thing that they did or ignoring all the problems that they had, pushing everything in the industry towards Xbox, who was doing pro-consumer moves at the time, pro-consumer things, Game Pass, Play Anywhere, all this shit. Cloud saves are free, full backwards compatibility across multiple things, free updates, all these pro-consumer things. Buying companies and then having those games actually in these affordable services too. Like all these things that they've done. Everybody's like anti that. No, because PlayStation's the cool shit. You know, they made this game, they made that game. This is only on PlayStation. That's that the mentality has they ran with it. I don't blame PlayStation for doing it.
It was selling. It was working for him.
Yeah, it's working. Now they're taking advantage of it. I got to tell all the people that didn't say anything, that just ran with it, were part of it. Sucks for you. I don't feel bad for you, bro.
That's what I was saying. The console warriors and the fanboys, they fight to be fucked by the company.
Yes. Which of us can make the company so strong that we get fucked the hardest? We've been through
Yeah.
this in waves with different companies numerous times. It's all the same shit. At the end of the day, it's all businesses for them. Like it's just absolutely crazy the amount of hate Xbox gets constantly over the last 20 years, and do so many things that some of the other companies don't do, and then they end up having to. They get applauded for doing things 6 years after Xbox did that nobody ever
Yep.
said shit about, you know. And it's like we look at the world we live in now, and like everything that's happening with PlayStation, and their name finally getting dragged through the mud a little bit by their fans, who just came to a fucking realization that, oh, they're not your friend. Remember, they all try to say that about us, the Xbox guys, just because we interact with them on fucking Twitter. You guys acted fucking righteous. Like every PlayStation move they made was the best ever. They know how to do everything. Nobody else does. This is the way you guys act. This is the position you've put yourselves in. You've done it to yourselves. I don't feel bad for you at all. I hope you win your battle. I hope you
This
do.
is this
But
this is part of the reason why I've mainly moved to PC is because PC, it's actually competitive and people will fight for it. It's like if your game costs $70 on Steam, they're like, fuck, I'm just pirating that game. Like
mhm,
Steam or PC players will actually like fight for better value, I feel like. Whereas console people just were like, I'm just gonna if they charge me $80 for the game and it's exclusive and I can only play it there, I'll do it. It's like,
yeah.
but you shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, they're always trying to like justify, well, they
Yeah,
they should be able to fuck us more because like it's better for them. You know, like what's better for them is the business is strong based on popularity and growth. You know what I mean? There's numerous ways of charging for and making money. But if people don't care about it, they're not gonna show up, right? And PlayStation found a way to make all of those people care about it and talk about it, right? Xbox fumbled the marketing to people time and time again. So that's why they're in the position that they are.
yeah,
And um they're bringing the bright energy back. I'm just interested if it'll, if there'll be this kind of period where we see it a market share not switch, but change somewhat, with the brands over the next few years with what's going on with physical and all that shit, you know. But that's that's hey Shizno, that's the way they if they feel like they're being fucked, they're gonna I mean, they're
yeah.
I'm not
It's not even
advocating
just
for it, but
pirating, but like you can find resellers of games and keys and digital stuff all the time on PC and get it for cheaper. A new game you can get $15 off on PC if you look hard enough.
yeah. Like there's the key sites and stuff
Yeah,
like I think it's loaded now, you know. They're
yeah,
completely legitimate. Like there's nothing wrong. You can buy a key on there for a game. Like it's nothing wrong with it. But you'll get a game there for like 15, like I said, $15 cheaper at launch right away, you know. And it's like, hey, cool. I take advantage of those deals. You get like Humble
yeah,
Bundle, you got like
yeah,
um Epic gives free games away constantly. And because those stores are fighting so much for share, you have
yeah,
different places you can just get free shit. I'll just go on the
Yeah,
Amazon, like, Twitch or whatever, go to the Amazon thing, and then
yeah,
just go claim random free games, you know?
yeah,
Because they'll give them in, like, 10 different stores too, because they all want you to end up having access to it through Luna, I think. I'm not sure why it goes to so many different storefronts, but, yeah, man, it's, like, so much freedom on PC, and I think the PC gamers inherently just never got the console war mentality because they weren't being marketed to the
yeah.
same, you know. And it's just the mentality
And
of
and they
console
had
gamers.
and they had options that they could fight against the the, like, developers and publishing stuff,
Yeah.
whereas on console, you're strictly adhered to whatever they put out.
Hmm. Yeah, Ice Pick. Yeah, Xbox did a good job with Gears of War marketing and with WWE. Yeah, like they're doing so many cool things we haven't really seen them do in a long time right now. Like they're getting their shit together when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And I don't know. I know they have a new marketing team because those were some of the people that left. Remember, there's a lady that was like right under Sarah Bond. Was part of that team. I was
Yeah, she
like,
came from, like, IGN or something, right?
can't remember.
Or
Well,
yeah,
there's a
she came from somewhere, but yeah. Because she
uh,
hosted her own show, like, at one point, but or set it up.
somebody that was under Sarah Bond that had been with them for a while that she left right after Sarah did. Um, and then somebody else that was close to them, like anyway, they've changed their style more. They're trying to get that like identity back. Like this is the cool shit. Like look what we got. You
Yeah.
know, and that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do on fucking console. That's what you got to do on for your platform. Really. It's funny. Like people always say this. Like you gotta like have these commercials or do all this marketing advertising. When's like besides for like maybe a Steam machine or Steam controller or whatever or the Steam Deck. When's the last time you seen a commercial on TV for or anywhere for Steam?
And it has what, like 40 million daily active users or something like that.
Like,
It's like
yeah, they don't have to market at all almost, bro, because it's just like the word of mouth became just like this is the best place to buy games on
yeah.
PC, right? It's like you buy a PC, one of the fucking first things you do is install Steam on it.
Chrome and Steam.
Chrome and Steam, yeah. That's like, well, I ain't using this browser. I'm gonna use Chrome and I'm gonna fucking use Steam. And like Xbox is already there. I don't have to install it. I actually
Yeah.
like the Xbox app. I know some don't, but I'm familiar. And I think it's because I'm a console gamer, so it's kind of familiar to me. You know?
I will say, like, I use both all the time, the Xbox
Yeah.
and the Steam app. Steam takes, like, for whatever reason, like a minute to like boot up, whereas Xbox app, you click it, it's immediately up and going. So I do appreciate that about the Xbox app.
Yeah. It's pretty quick to get those games, and I like that you can see the library for your other games too once you do that and stuff. So I'll play Madden on PC right now quite a bit. I just launch it through Xbox, even though it's on the EA's app. You know. So anyway, well, everybody, that's gonna do it for the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that clarified my thoughts on the whole multi-platform stuff for you, Nate Dog. And everybody else in the chat. Thank you for watching so much. You guys rock. Jasper, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Lord Jasper Twitter, and here most Thursdays. Just whenever Mav does a show with other people on it, I try to be there. Other than that, just catch me around, I guess,
Right on
in
me.
space. You know.
In space. Nice.
Yeah.
And we'll be back probably I'll probably have some other kind of random stream coming up this weekend or something. But thank you all for being here. You guys rock. Appreciate every single one of you. And I hope you all have a good one. Take it easy. Bye bye.
Bye.